What up, gamers? YouTube, welcome in. This is I think it's going to be my full playthrough of Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories, a game that I have never technically completed. Listen, I'm caught up on my Kingdom Hearts. You already know I'm the biggest Kingdom Hearts fan ever, despite not completing this game. However, what's happening up here is very important to the time and place in which this stream is taking place. An hour and a half from now is the big D23 Kingdom Hearts 25th anniversary panel. Just last night, they put out the third, technically, Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, which gave us a release window of late 2027. It was the Coco trailer. We reacted to that live, and it's been all hands on deck, all signs pointing to this very moment in time as we sort of ramp towards, I'm assuming, some pretty big reveals about the future of the Kingdom Hearts franchise outside of Kingdom Hearts 4 and the newly announced TV show. Maybe some more details on both of those. Who knows? We'll keep all that speculation for the next VOD. You'll have to go find that separately. What's important to note is that today's my fucking birthday, and today there's a Kingdom Hearts event. So I'm all in, baby. We're gonna play some Melody Memories, have a fucking blast, and talk about what's coming up. God damn, it's gonna be awesome. I'm over the moon at how these last 24, 48 hours have gone and what these next few hours may hold. It's fucking fantastic. It's just fantastic. Mala T, welcome in. The Birthday King, that's what they call me. Who up goofing they shit? Me, always. Latinas are now canon in the Kingdom Hearts universe. Unfortunately, that's incredibly correct. Control on the birthday streak, 225 stream streak, kept the streak going. Multiple streams on today and yesterday. The birth of his child did not interrupt said stream streak. So I don't want to hear it from any of y'all on why you couldn't make it to a stream. No, I'm just kidding. You're finally 2021. I can have a drink now, and I might. Psycho, welcome in here for the anniversary. It's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be awesome. Johnny on the 135. We love to see it. Bama, welcome in. Let's fucking go. Okay, here's what you need to know about this game, chat. Of course, you got all that shit. This is a rhythm game. Are FF characters in this one? Excellent question. Kind of. Oh, that's how you start a goddamn intro, baby. So this is a music game. This is a rhythm game. Oh, I'm supposed to be pressing something. I didn't realize. Up. Okay, got it. Ozzy, my fucking goat. Hello. But yes, everybody is in this game. This is like a rhythm game where you play the music from the Kingdom Hearts games and all of the characters appear as either playable or in cutscene form and stuff like that. It is a very unique game. It does have canonical stuff that happens like via cutscenes at the end, and technically it is the most recent Kingdom Hearts game that came out. It came out in 2021, I want to say, and we have not had a Kingdom Hearts game since. And it's the only Kingdom Hearts media that takes place after Kingdom Hearts 3, pre-Kingdom Hearts 4. Sorry, Bonanza is mad fun. Donkey Kong Bonanza is fucking sick. Hell yeah, Books, welcome in. And then the way that it works is it kind of works as like a almost like recap retrospective in a lot of ways, where you play through the Kingdom Hearts games and you play the music that is I guess coincides with each of those games. So it's kind of like you play all the way through them, which is pretty cool. It's a very unique game, and it's very similar to, it's developed by the same people as those who make Theater Rhythm, if you're familiar with Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy, which I'm also a big fan of. We played a lot of the new one that came out, Final Bar Line, a couple years ago. But it's not always just music and flying. You run around these tracks and like attack with the playable characters. It's so fucking sick. Press any two at the same time. All right, so it's L1, R1, and X. Triangle for a skill. Jump with O, okay. Jump attack, that's right. Press and hold O to glide. Oh yeah. And you have free control when you're gliding. This is so sick, dude. I missed one. This is wild. It's so fucking fun. It's so odd, but so good. But Gingerbeard, welcome in as well. I hope everyone's doing so damn well. We got just over an hour 15 to go until it's gamer time. Ooh, I have to go a little earlier than that. Right. Well, I can fly. I can fly for fun. No problem. I wasn't sure I was gonna have to hit these. I'm locked in, baby. We're comboing. When this run ends, yes, of course. Oh! Hell yeah, Swanky. Welcome in, homie. Oh! Got him. Got him. Did you play Fortnite earlier? Yeah, I played that dog shit fucking event. It was very mediocre, unfortunately. But it was a fun tease, and it's nice that the season is coming along. Replay the tutorial. Why would I ever want to replay the fucking tutorial? Why would I ever? Checking in on the Jake stream from work and quickly Googling when the event begins, and Google hits me with this. Kingdom Hearts 25th anniversary. Reddit. Kingdom Hearts releases a huge new 25th anniversary merch collection. People also ask, why do autistic people like Kingdom Hearts? Oh, fuck. Well, let me start by explaining the story. You see, Kingdom Hearts is a story about a boy. That's so fucking funny. Very good. Very good. But yeah, the Fortnite event was lackluster. I was hoping that there would be some like gamer ass teases. Like I wanted to get transported to Sonic World, you know what I mean? But that will be in a few days. A few days, I fear. 4 stars. Was still Travis Scott. 100%. 100% incredibly true. Destiny Islands and busting up on the beach. Hey, can we get some ones in chat if you like busting up on the beach? I know I do. I like to do it everywhere. Beach just being one of those places. Oh, dude. Destiny Islands is the best vibe, even when you're on a music track smacking Heartless. Cool world tease in a time frame yesterday. Yeah, I'm still feeling it. I think that there is a lot to share. And I think at D23, here's my expectation for today's event. I think that we got that big reveal trailer because there was enough to disperse amongst the fucking fans and amongst the media that's ready to rip. Because I truly think that being that it's D23 and it's a celebration of like Disney and Kingdom Hearts, I think that we probably get a reveal of Marvel or Star Wars here. It's possible that's not what we're getting, but I think that we will get an announcement of substance today. Still. Which is very exciting. A very exciting prospect. And truthfully, if there was no new Kingdom Hearts 4 news, that would be okay with me, as long as it resulted in news of another type, whether that's details on the TV show, a brand new spin-off game, which we are long overdue for. Really any fucking like morsel that they want to feed us. But yeah, I do truly expect some big announcements that are Kingdom Hearts 4 built. Without having something for tonight. Moana section, possibly. 358/2 remake, that would go fucking crazy. Yeah, a nice, there's been a long rumors of a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake floating around. A game that is due for a remake. Like, as much as I love Kingdom Hearts, if I had to put like a review score on playing Kingdom Hearts 1 in 2026, I would give that game like a 7.5. You know what I mean? Like, it's not standing the test of time that well. It's a janky little fucking RPG, without a doubt. Even if they just beefed it up to use like the Kingdom Hearts 3 or 4 or 2 battle system, smoothed out those platforming edges and gave it a coat of paint, it would be a much more positive experience to play. So I think remakes are on the table for sure. And it being the 25th anniversary, I feel like they got something for us. I really do. I really do. They wouldn't show that trailer or give us a release window without having something ready for tonight. I agree. It was a premature ejaculation, but they are still ready to fuck. That's the best I've got. That's my best guess. That's my best metaphor for it. It's time to bust up on the beach. Busters, lock in. Fuck. I'm busting. Fuck. It's hard to time the jumps. My depth perception not so great. All right, Donnie fucking soloing this big motherfucker. Big man. I believe I call him Big Man. Canonical term, by the way. That's right. What's Sora's origin story? It's pretty straightforward. He lives on this island with his mom and his 2 best friends and some other kids, and a big nightmare takes place and he gets transported. Lone boy in a strange new world type beat. And he gets transported to what eventually ends up being a bunch of interconnected worlds. He finds Donald and Goofy, who are also trying to find Mickey, who seems to have jumped worlds as well. So something is wrong with the universe, and all of these worlds are now connected. Sora's world, the real world, Alice in Wonderland world, Mulan world, and he's got to go around as a Keyblade wielder and lock the fucking keys of those worlds. That's a very bad explanation of like only the setup of what's happening in the games, but that's the long and short of it.
Led by a mysterious voice.
Here you go. This is what happens at the start. Perfect.
Sora, Riku, and I wanted to see the world beyond our island.
Trying to solve shit and find his way back? No. That resolves mostly in the first game.
Meanwhile, Donald and Goofy received a letter from
But that's the point of the first
asking
game.
them to find the holder of a
And kind of like the hook that goes through. Fez, welcome in. Too Much New Toys, welcome in. Certified Kingdom Hearts enjoyer Fez. Cried in excitement seeing the trailer. So fucking exciting. It's happening. We're an hour away. Get fucking hyped. Return of the birthday, Jake. That's exactly right, Glow. Welcome in, you legend. In chat, don't think I'm fucking you over here. I got this shit ready to go. 55 minutes until the stream goes live. We'll be ready. Don't you even worry. But that is like the setup of the first one, essentially. Mega Man, welcome in as well. I hope you're doing so damn well. Even if it's something small with how much draw we've had regarding 4, they got to give us something, especially with the Final Fantasy Revelation coming out too. Yeah, I think that's happening. I really think we're going to get a crowd-pleasing confirmation or announcement of some sort. If it's not, I think they listen to fans on Kingdom Hearts 3. I think that they know that we want Disney plus Final Fantasy equals Kingdom Hearts. I think that we will get either a reveal about new Disney worlds outside of Coco. I think we'll get the reveal of like Marvel or Star Wars. If not, we'll get confirmation of like a big Final Fantasy character or Final Fantasy presence in the game. I do think there's a world. I feel like 2.5 hours from now, we're leaving that thing and we are excited for Kingdom Hearts 4, Kingdom Hearts TV show, and question mark. I think that there's like a big, and there's one extra big thing, whether that's a Kingdom Hearts remake or a Kingdom Hearts spin-off game, or, you know, we know that Kingdom Hearts 4 is part of a brand new trilogy, or we're getting big shit. Here's the thing to know about Kingdom Hearts as it relates to Square Enix, okay? 3 years ago, Square Enix restructured their entire company to stop pumping out bullshit franchises like Everyday, fucking Various Day Life, and Harvestella, and these little minuscule RPGs that sell 900,000 copies. They redistributed their fucking teams, they rebranded creative business units, they reorganized, restructured, and they built it around their big pillars of gaming. They said, we have teams that work on Dragon Quest, we have teams that work on Final Fantasy, and we have teams that work on Kingdom Hearts. And over the last year, we have had the re-reveals and the doubling down of Square Enix on these franchises. We've seen it happen with Final Fantasy. We're on the fucking straight and narrow. Someone's working on Final Fantasy 17. We have Final Fantasy, what's the subtitle, coming out in October. I wanted to call it Revelation, but Revelation coming out next year for Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 3. We have Dragon Quest 12 is re-revealed, brand new direction. We're good. We're on the straight and narrow there. What we haven't seen is Kingdom Hearts outside of Kingdom Hearts 4 being pushed out to the world. So the question is that what are those smaller teams working on? What else are they doing for the Kingdom Hearts fans in the future? This is a series that historically was fucking milked, dude. Like, it was like every year a new Kingdom Hearts spin-off, a mobile gacha game, a PSP title, a DS title, a 3DS title, a Game Boy Advance title. It was on every console. It was out every fucking year. Kingdom Hearts fans were eating so good, and they've been quiet and they've been biding their time. And now with Kingdom Hearts 4 being imminent and the Kingdom Hearts franchise being a $1 billion Disney franchise, the time is right to reinvest in these stories. And I think that we are going to see that tonight at this fucking event. I think we see significantly more than Kingdom Hearts 4 and a TV show. We're going to leave here happy as fuck. That's my guess. That's my guess. It all adds up. Final Fantasy Resonance, good shit. There's a lot of work. Yes, I agree. I agree. Gets a remake or spinoff like Resonance is to 7. Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be smart. I honestly do. And they also have that weird thing going on too with what's it called? They canceled that mobile game, but that mobile game has crazy cinematics and what appeared to be a pretty important story. So a lot of people think that they're going to rehash that into something else that is not a mobile game, or possibly could be a mobile game but isn't the same sort of game that works on like geolocation, because that game was like a Pokemon Go. Like, it was like you'd have to like go places and play and Pikmin bloom your fucking guys and whatnot. I think that they might twist that shit around. Yeah, I'm upset that it was canceled too, because I just wanted more Kingdom Hearts in any form. So I do truly believe that we get maybe some new version of that. I don't know. What an exciting fucking time. I'm killing this shit. Is this canon? Yeah, very much. So this is the only game that takes place technically after Kingdom Hearts 3. And what's happening in this game is Kairi, further in the timeline than Kingdom Hearts 3, pre-Kingdom Hearts 4, Kairi is recounting Sora's memories. It's called Melody of Memories. So via music, in fact, or they use music as like the way to relay or convey what she is feeling or going through. She is running through the events of the Kingdom Hearts games sequentially. So it's a little bit like story recap. It's a bit of a clip show in some ways, but it has brand new narration from Kairi and like interstitial story that's sprinkled throughout of like where she is and what she's doing without going into too great a detail post Kingdom Hearts 3. And then at the end, there is a pretty significant cutscene or series of cutscenes that involve the future of Kingdom Hearts. That's very Kairi centric, which is really cool. But yeah, this is very much a game. When I made Shay the the diagram yesterday, this is what I said about Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory on the bottom. Music game, could skip, but low-key epilogue. So this can technically supplement playing the 3 games. No, you're going to miss out on quite a few beats. This is more of like a, remember when we did this type of thing? You're going to be like, I cannot follow what just happened here. In my opinion, you should play Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, probably Dream Drop Distance, definitely Kingdom Hearts 3. And on the side, you should play Birth by Sleep and Fragmentary Passage. And then once you're done all of it, you should recap it with Melody of Memories. I think that this is the true way to play. I think everything else you could technically skip. You don't need to play the card game. You don't need to play the mobile spin-offs. You don't need to watch the movies, even though you really should watch the 358 over 2 days and the recoded movies. Either way. I think that this is the good finale to a full playthrough of the Kingdom Hearts games. I did play Dream Drop, me too. I played through Dream Drop Distance only one single time, and I technically didn't beat it because the final boss was so hard. I just watched a video, but it was fine. It's my least favorite quote-unquote mainline Kingdom Hearts. I don't feel as firmly on Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance being as important as Birth by Sleep. To me, you cannot play Kingdom Hearts 3 without playing Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and Birth by Sleep. I think Birth by Sleep is as important to Kingdom Hearts 3 and the full Kingdom Hearts universe as Kingdom Hearts 2 is, or Kingdom Hearts 1 is. It's the Terra Aqua Ventus of it all. And I think also Fragmentary Passage is low-key important, which is just like an epilogue. Wiener, I'm saying. Dank, welcome in. You also have to have knowledge of the mobile games for 3. You don't have to, but it pays off if you do. I don't think it's essential though. I don't think it's essential. I think the mobile games have less payoff than Birth by Sleep does. Birth by Sleep, if you don't play it, you're going to be like, who are these kids? A lot. Whereas if you play the mobile game, if you don't play the mobile game, you're going to be like, who are these kids? Like twice. Birth by Sleep is still maybe start to finish my favorite story of them all. 100%. Birth by Sleep reigns supreme, I think. And I just think it's the strongest characters. And it has Aqua. Birth by Sleep gang really got hoed. Kind of. Let's fucking go, dude. A goddamn birthday sub from Zangief. Now my life is complete. Thank you, homie. I appreciate it. Gamers, too fucking good to me. Some W's in the chat for one of the goats. My fucking goat. Zangief, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. I know I am. I truly believe that just like events wise, with Duskfade launching, we beat the game last night, Kingdom Hearts trailer yesterday, Kingdom Hearts event today, all on my fucking birthday. It's like, ooh, it's been a while since something has coincided with my birthday. Here's the thing, truthfully, as a summer birthday, there's usually not a lot of shit going on video game wise for me. The thing that I remember the most about video games when it comes to my birthday is that on more than a couple occasions, Madden has launched on my birthday. That's usually all I get. Definitely nothing like this. Nothing substantial like a fucking massive Kingdom Hearts event, you know? So that's been really, really nice. That's been quite nice. Ooh. But welcome in, homie. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the 13 months. Ooh. You guys know me. I'll take any excuse to just talk about Kingdom Hearts anyway. And if we can make it on my birthday, when none of you are allowed to naysay and you all have to just be my little fucking captive audience, sure. Don't mind if I do. In fact. Hey, is that good? So how does 40 feel? I'm not 40, you fucks. I'm 21. I can officially drink, and I'm gonna. Oh, this is it, Coal Mines. This is the start of the
Riku disappeared into the darkness. My heart managed to escape to safety inside Sora. The darkness overwhelmed Sora, and he awoke in an unfamiliar town.
You guys ready for the best fucking vibes in all of video games? I truly believe that this is like, okay, Kingdom Hearts is a series about important music, but I think this might be the most important music in all of Kingdom Hearts. This is the music where when I heard it for the first time, I was like, oh, I'm playing something so special right now. The vibes of this city, the vibes of this town, unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. This fucking sleepy little town, dude. So cozy. Twilight Town and Shion's theme. Oh, Shion's theme goes so fucking crazy. We watched the 358 over 2 days video like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I fucking cried so hard on stream. I was like, no. Still one of my most successful TikToks that I still get like likes all the time, and it was like, it had text on the screen and it was like, one line can't hurt you, the line, and it's fucking Axel at the end of 358 over 2 days, dude. And I'm just like, ooh. Where's an even more appealing number to people that probably need therapists to help sort out their parental issues. So true. It's just easier to get there. But yeah, Twilight Town is equally cozy, somewhat differently, but the Kingdom Hearts 2 conversation is another one worth having, if you ask me. I think that is such a magical time. We will, listen, I know we just played Kingdom Hearts 2 years ago. We will play Kingdom Hearts again before the launch of Kingdom Hearts 4, obviously. But the Kingdom Hearts 2 prologue, the Roxas stuff, bringing Kingdom Hearts 2 home, putting that disc in, and me being like, who is this fucker? Give me Sora. And then 4 hours later, crying because my new best friend Roxas was going away. That shit should be studied. That's a master class in how to do a prologue to a video game. I think Kingdom Hearts is one of those series where you can't really say there's a bad song. No, they nail it. They understand the importance. Oh, the fucking Gummy Ship music. Even this is good, even though it makes me feel terrible. We should get a quick Sora versus Clint fight to celebrate. This is very funny. I fear I can't swing it. Clint is reserved for Tamagotchi. But the next Tamagotchi stream, you got it. To celebrate Sora. Sloppy, welcome in, homie. Sloppy during a Kingdom Hearts event, a true birthday treat. And for his next bit, he's going to stay here present for the entire event and say only nice things about what's happening on the screen. Only because it's your birthday. That's exactly right. You know what? Here's I'm also offering up another bit. Any takers on this? Here's your role for the evening if you would like to be a part of this bit. You're not a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, but you're a really big Haley Joel Osment fan, so you're pretty excited for the event. I think there's something here. Any takers? Well, I've never really been into Kingdom Hearts, but Haley Joel's going to be at the event, so I'm pretty locked in. It's good to be here, Jake. I think there's something to this. My library doesn't have any Kingdom Hearts games to borrow, and I don't want to spend the cash to play it. It's $30 for the entire series on Steam at this very moment right now. And at this point, there is a new collection coming out with everything. I'm just here to see if James Woods is still voicing Hades. I think he is. He was in the trailer last night, and it sounded perfect. I don't think we have that confirmation on paper, but something terrible would have had to happen. Fuck. Ooh. Let's fucking go. Brother man, welcome in, homie. Pleasure for console is 75 human dollars. It'll go down in price. You don't need to get it right now. And 7, welcome in. Good to see you guys. Nobody blows out the birthday candles twice on the same day, quite like JT. I'm truly burning the candle from both ends and dripping the hot wax upon my chest. Thoughts on that, chat? Thoughts on that? What do you think? What do you say? Return to World Tour. I'm on a world tour with Common My Man. Uh-oh. After each and every show, a couple? Complete, cleared. Oh, those are single songs. Ooh, great jam. Happy Come Day, that's right. Well, you'd have to wish that to my father. Wait, you'd have to do that in like fucking February or something. January? Bah! I got my time on my jumps to going. We're doing all right. Who won it? Shit, I jumped instead of smacked. Ooh, ooh. This is sick. They're starting to stack up. Nice. Fuck, I keep on doing that. I keep on hitting O when they're on the right. Timing for a Kingdom Hearts event on your birthday is actually so dope. It really is so fucking sick. It has been kind of blowing my mind. I was just talking about it. August is usually like fucking no man's land for video game stuff. So I have very few video game memories related to my birthday outside of like, you know, playing a game that I didn't own before or something like that, but it had been out for a while. Like it wasn't like I was getting in on the hype. And in my adult life, especially when it came to video games around my birthday, it's always been the same story. And it's Madden always comes out around my birthday. Like sometimes on my birthday, in fact. And that's pretty much it, dude. August is not really popping. So to have something like fucking Kingdom Hearts pop up on my actual birthday proper is fucking crazy. How does it feel to be the world's happiest 46-year-old? Excellent question. Feels great. Especially because I look this good. Is the Guitar Hero game just a mini game? It's the Guitar Hero game, yeah. This is Melody of Memory. And it's very similar to Theater Rhythm if you're a knower of Theater Rhythm. Final Fantasy rhythm game. College football games, July 10th, near your birthday. Return to World Tour. I'm on a world.
Having been chosen by the Keyblade, Sora teamed up with Donald and Goofy.
You don't look a day over 52. Thank you so much. Thanks for noticing. I don't feel a day over 52. I feel 51 easy.
In order to keep them safe from the encroaching darkness. Meanwhile, Riku awoke in the dark depths.
Latest one was rough. Don't worry, it's not gonna get better. I'm so interested to see EA's trajectory over the next fucking couple years. EA's, I forget the exact terminology, but that EA buyout, the EA buyout is the largest individual corporate buyout taking a public company private in the history of mankind. Not in video games, in the world, in the known economy, if I recall correctly. EA's completed historic $55 billion all-cash leveraged buyout on August 4th, 2026 officially took the video game giant private, setting a new global record as the largest leveraged buyout in history, an LBO. Unfucking believable. It has its own Wikipedia page and it's not short. Crazy. Jake's disappointed all his girlfriends only ever gave him sex for his birthday instead of Kingdom Hearts news. Truthfully, they could have done better. Where were they with their fucking sweet new announcements, you know? The only announcement that I got was their announcement that they were disappointed in my performance. Okay, Aladdin has been added to the squad. Get fucking hyped. Also, here's how you know that this is not a canonical fucking Jake twitching recap of the memories. I never would have switched out Donnie. Goofy gets switched out in my fucking worlds. Donnie stays on the team always. And we don't tolerate Donnie hate, do we, chat? Oh, Cave of Wonders? I'm not here to argue this with you. I'm just going to say a fact. The Cave of Wonders is handsome. And you all know it to be true. You can deny it if you feel like it, but we'll just know that you're lying. Ooh, this is satisfying. The amount of times Donnie has fucked me in 3 is astounding, yeah. He just has higher stakes. Donnie sticks out as doing bad at his job more often because he is depended on for healing from time to time. Which I think is unfair, because if Goofy's job was to heal, he would fail as much too. Goofy's supposed to be defending me. Why is he dead on the ground constantly? There's a question for you. Fuck. He goofed his last goof. He most certainly did. Oh, he most certainly did. I can't believe this is the last Kingdom Hearts game that we got. Truly fucked up. Is there any like sub menu situation in this game? Like, is there yeah. Team Classic. Yeah, okay, I remember. You can like swap some shit out once you get into some different stories. Because what's cool about this is like we can look around here. So this is all following the story of Kingdom Hearts 1. More Kingdom Hearts 1 here. All of this is like the finale of Kingdom Hearts 1. And then by the time you get here, I believe this starts Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah, so this is Twilight Town, I believe. Yeah. This is Twilight Town, and then this is all Kingdom Hearts 2 stuff. I think this low-key might be like Dream Drop Distance or something like that. But you go through the Kingdom Hearts 2 stuff. Yeah, no, this is Twilight Town for sure. This is the mysterious fucking thing. This is Mulan World. Yeah, all this, Kingdom Hearts 2 for sure. Ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 stuff. And then you get into potentially, is this Birth by Sleep stuff? Yeah, this is Radiant Garden. No. What the fuck is the name of the world where the Birth by Sleep kids are from? It's not Radiant Garden. It's something. Gotta be important. There's a massive amount of shit. It's even around the time we were finishing the Pillars playthrough. Yeah, for sure. This was 2021. Fucking crazy. Land of Departure. Yep. Good shit. And that gets shit's flipped upside down and becomes Scalad Callum, I think, or something like that. Or it's like underwater. I don't remember. I get a little fucking confused. Kingdom Hearts 3 be revealing a lot of stuff. This map is fucking... I am flabbergasted at how much shit there is. That's really crazy. Cleared, not cleared. Okay. Banger alert. Oh, we're gonna climb inside that handsome ass mouth. What that cave throat do? Comes Castle Oblivion Seals Ven. Yep. You know what? Maybe is Scalad Callum upside down? Is that the place where one of the mobile games takes place or something like that? I remember there's some upside down bullshit. Timey-wimey shenanigans. God, I'm so fucking sick. Fuck. Big day for those of us who let our hearts be our guiding key. That is exactly correct. For the best of us, some would say. In fact, French tip. How hyped are you? Is where Dark Road takes place. That's right. That's right. That's right. And then what did that fucking trailer yesterday do to your body? I've never seen Coco, but I'll tell you what. We're doing a Coco watch party here in the next month or so. In the Kingdom Hearts category. And everyone's going to be fucking cool about it. Isn't that right, chat? I can't fucking believe it. I can't believe we're 40 minutes away from new Kingdom Hearts panel, dude. They have enough for a goddamn panel. It's being live streamed by the Game Awards, dude. This is gonna be big, I'm telling you. They're releasing stuff online in 40 minutes? No, there's a fucking full look. Behold. Behold. Well, I mean, yeah, the answer to that question is yeah, they are, but it's more. It's more than that. 7:15 p.m., 7:30 is the start of the panel. They're live streaming the deep dive into Kingdom Hearts Anniversary. It's unfucking believable. It's gonna be unbelievable. Full hour of Kingdom Hearts news being co-streamed on fucking YouTube, on the Game Awards, on the Disney D23 channel. It's on Disney fucking Plus. It's on the Kingdom Hearts YouTube channel. Like, this is everywhere. It is the most streamed event, most widely streamed event in all of D23 this year. Coco's such a good movie. I'm so excited. Everyone says they cry. I don't know if I'll cry. I am a movie crier though, so I probably will. And we're sitting here. We're gonna watch the whole thing. We're reacting. Do you draw a Disney Channel logo? Excellent question. Yeah. Have you guys ever seen that kid who fucks up the Disney Channel logo so bad? Bad Disney Channel logo. Video. This is just a montage of kids doing a tear. Oh yeah, wait. This is the one where, this is a really good one. This is the Disney Channel videos, but it traces them trying to draw the logo.
Channel.
Good. Cool. Let's do one more for safe. And we'll...
Hey, I'm Hilary Duff from Lizzie McGuire, and you're watching Disney Channel.
You can move your body a little bit more when you're doing the...
Okay.
And action.
Hi, I'm Raven from That's So Raven, and you're watching Disney Channel.
That's
What's
great.
that extra?
Hi,
What's
I'm
that
Raven from
extra
That's So
fucking?
Raven, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Very nice. Let us...
What is the extra bonus? She does a fourth one.
I get to draw.
T and Tamara.
Hi, I'm Jake Thomas from Lizzie McGuire, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Honestly, kid, not bad. Okay.
Is my outline okay?
Yeah, I think it feels good. Andrew?
I'm like going way over here. Is that cool?
T and Tamara were an awakening
I'm
for sure.
Annalisa, and you're watching the Disney Channel. I'm really excited. Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay, that was a 3-eared mouse. Did anyone see that?
Self-aware,
I'm
dude.
Orlando Brown from That's So Raven, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Folks, let's keep the work down, please. Thank you.
Guys, we're rolling. Very quiet, please.
I'm sorry. What is this fucking shape, dude?
That was some of my best work. Hey, what's up? I'm Orlando Brown from... What's the name of it? That's So Raven. Okay.
What's the name of the show?
Hi, I'm Stephen Anthony Lawrence from Even Stevens, and you're watching Disney Channel. Ta-da!
Fucking nailed it, bro. That's so funny. Holy fuck. Fucking beans, dude. Fucking beans. Fucking beans, dude. Speaking of beans, straight from Europe. Barbs. Rumor. Ashley, welcome in. Barbs, thank you for the raid. Look at this. Fucking back and forth. Robert, thank you for the follow. Good to see you. Daniel, welcome. Will, welcome. Hello, gamers. So good to have you here. I'm dropping the kids off again. I'm gonna take good care of them. We are in the middle of doing something fucking crazy. Not the speaking of beans. Hi, Barbs. Oh yeah, speaking of beans. Well, Europe always be putting beans on toast and shit. It was fucking perfect. I can't help it. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the housekeeping. This is what we're getting into right now. Behold, we're playing Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories, which is a rhythm game. That's not the important part. We're waiting 37 minutes because in the very, very near future here, we are getting a Kingdom Hearts 25th anniversary live stream, which is so unheard of. It is being broadcasted from D23, and it should have news and updates of the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and I'm so fucking pumped. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. Also, Duskfade is awesome. Did you love it? Did you fucking love it? I had to fucking sleep between my streams. I was a hurting unit, to say the least. But I was like, oh, man. I really want to see Barley Duskfade. It's so fucking good. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Oh my god, happy birthday, baby boy. Thank you all. I appreciate it. The best gift that you could possibly give me is your presence for a Kingdom Hearts event. Happy birthday, King Davey. Thank you. Good to see you, homie. Truly, the pleasure is all mine to have you guys here for such an occasion. I was just talking about how video games and my birthday have never mixed. August is a dumping ground for bullshit video games and like stuff I don't care about. Like Madden comes out on my birthday some years. Never do I get something that is so positively Jake Twitchin' pilled. And the fact that it's my birthday and I'm about to watch an hour-long Kingdom Hearts event with news about my favorite franchise is truly the stuff of legend. So I am just thrilled to fucking be here right now. So Barbs, thank you for the raid. Everyone that's just getting here, thanks for being here. We're making it happen. I have very, very high fucking hopes for what's about to transpire. I think it's going to be great. Big welcome in. God, what a banger. What, this track? It's an all-timer. Oh, you deserve this. I was just thinking about how much I deserve this. See, because you've been such a good boy this year. Yeah, just ask JakeBot. He would agree. He would agree. Also, I'm fucking killing it on this run right now. Ooh. But yes, Barbs, I finished Duskfade last night, and during my Duskfade stream, they put out a Kingdom Hearts trailer, and I lost my fucking mind. But I beat it. I love it. It's my third favorite game of the year. The flow state that you end up when you're just doing some platforming in that game is so good. Is so damn good. And chat, don't think you're gonna miss a damn second because I got this shit pulled up over here. The deep dive into Kingdom Hearts. In 19 minutes, it goes live at 7:15, 15 minutes before the panel begins, and then we'll get a live feed of it 15 minutes later. We'll see what that 15 minutes looks like. We'll probably do like a hard intro for a separate VOD for the reaction, and maybe they'll play some Kingdom Hearts Jolly music or something. I don't know. You got the second chain in the volcano, so I believe I have 3 more. That sounds about right. Yeah, volcano is good. Good biome changes. The next biome, ooh, truthfully, the biomes, I feel strongly in this way. Biomes 1 and 2 are my least favorite biomes for sure. My top biomes are all still to come for you, which is exciting. And then they're in some order. The third one might be my favorite, I'm not sure. I'm just a sucker for that type of biome. There are other ones that are also very fucking cool. I'm here and I'm queer. Prove it. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome back, Eula. Your timing is great. We got fucking 18 minutes until the live stream starts. 33 minutes until the panel starts. What a time to be alive. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Big talk from someone not sucking my jorts. Good fucking point. That's a good fucking point. I will say, I think if we look at my life in stages, how did Jake come to be the way that he is? I think you have to have a small chapter about Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Because I was like fucking 8 years old and I was like, I think I like her. Streaming after a week off was tough, man. What was the hardest part about it? Was it mouth moving the entire time, or was it multitasking? Was it the gameplay of it all? Oh my god. Day off just reminded me, chat, I was looking at my own Twitch tracker the other day. You guys have to see this. You guys have to see this. When I tell you that there is no better streamer to watch if you want consistency in your entertainment than Jake Twitchin. No, not Co. Fuck off, Ike. Look at this inconsistent motherfucker. 2020, 2021. I'm like, yeah, I guess maybe I'll like stream and shit. 2022, I was like, I'll figure it out. 2023 at the end, I'm like, you know what? What if I started like fucking just like digging in, dude, and streaming crazy style? Are you fucking kidding? Are you fucking kidding, dude? Show me someone else's fucking tracker that looks like this that isn't like a full-time like 1,000 viewer partner. I am out here, dude. Barely ever 2 days off in a row. In fact, I don't notice 3 days off in a row at any single point. I guess maybe a light stream here. I don't know. God damn. Hey, bud, take a vacation. I'm on one. I'm on one, and you guys are here for it. And I appreciate your presence and time. How I should feel about everything that's no room for ambiguity. That's exactly right. Now let's talk about Expedition 33. More like 30p. They would combust without stream 3 days in a row. Dude, I think when all is said and done, I won't ever be the biggest streamer ever. I'll be pretty big. But I will possibly be the person that likes streaming the most. I love being online. I love watching fucking weird ass shit and playing video games and talking about it. Obsession is the Expedition 33 of fucking movies. Let's go, dude. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Very good. Very good, Ike. Obsession is the Expedition 33 of movies. Jake, when is Kingdom Hearts 1000? We're going to find out in 29 minutes, 34 seconds, and it's going to be fucking awesome. Sinclair, welcome in. Good to see you. Dedication. That's right, Ashley. I fucking do it for y'all. I really do it. We makes it happen. This motherfucker hates good media. No, I love it. I love it so much I can sniff out when it's bad. I sniff out when it's bad. Obsession, more like OBGYN session. Nice. Very good. Yeah, that place. Yeah, that place. We're in on that. Not in the session. Not in the session. On the play on words. You know what I mean. Oh, Jake, are you busy on the 4th of 10th? Got it. Of December. Let me check my fucking Palm Pilot. I'm free. What's poppin'? You want to log me into something? What's poppin'? There's this thing called the Game Awards. Keely's big night. I'm listening, my Barbs. Barbs and I have the Orbitals coming up. When you were talking about September and you mentioned the Orbitals, I was like, ooh, that is right around the corner. I'm fucking excited for that. I've been playing some It Takes Two recently again, and I'm like, ooh, this is a thing that appeals to me. Like this type of gameplay, doing like 3D platformy puzzly stuff with somebody else is a fun activity. It's gonna be a fucking blast. Let me check my Palm Pilot followed by staring his girlfriend in the eyes is a great bit. Thank you. I suggest Big Walk. We are going to play more Big Walk. Big Walk is on the books, but I made it a point in talking. I'm not playing Big Walk with 5 people. I'm not playing with 4 people or 3 people. I'm playing with 6 people, and I know the fucking 6. I'm not playing again until we get all of us back on the same fucking game. But I want to beat that game this year. That's my promise to you, is that I'm going to fight to make that happen. I'm going to fight to make it happen. Keely's Playhouse is so funny. 3-3, the Expedition 33 Jamboree. Yeah. So if it doesn't happen, it's Moose's fault. I think it would be Jen's fault the other day. Jen's, but then Barb's wouldn't have been able to make it either. And then I think Treehorn has a busy week coming up or something like that. But I don't. It's fine. Everyone's gonna have something else that's going on in some days, but every once in a while, the stars will align, and we will do a 6-person big walk game. It's gonna be great. I was cutting clips the other day, and like I don't know if I have a place for it. I made a montage of my big walk ones. They're not like put into like a perfect thing. Here, I'll show you guys. This is what I came up with for my big walk moments. I mean, a slight volume warning. You'll be all right. Welcome to WJBQ Radio. Tonight we're gonna listen to the smooth tunes of the Beatles. Take it away. Ooh, hit that shit. I sure hope nothing comes through this one. Oh.
All right, yeah. So
Some say the clitoris is really the nipple of the vagina. Why don't they want to share chat?
How do I hold it above my head?
Oh, R1, R2 and L2 is like put left hand up, right hand up. So if you press both, it'll pop up into the sky. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Fuck yeah.
Who put that there? That must have been so long ago. This gift box.
The long con on the gift 5 subs was very good. Soupy, welcome in.
Yay! Leaving a note. What are you writing? Oh my god.
You're heading out alone, consider leaving a note, so I suppose you could probably write anything on it?
Wait, can you read it?
Yes, I can read it.
Yeah.
There's asterisks for me.
Oh yeah, it's just asterisk for me too.
Jake.
No, I can see it.
I did. I'm trying to.
Can you read it? I walk over.
Big Walk's fun. Big Walk is a banger. I fear. They were cooking. We're getting the fucking gang back together. Kingdom Hearts is light, Lawless. I'm fucking saying. And it's gonna be obscene amounts of light in the very near future here. I'm so fucking excited. I just am so excited to know what the future holds for my favorite franchise. And we get to find out today on my goddamn birthday. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You couldn't write a better script for my life. What the fuck is this? This is Melody of Memories. This is the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game that technically is the newest Kingdom Hearts game that came out, even though it came out in 2021. It's awesome. It just is like a musical recap of the entire story told from the point of view of Kairi after Kingdom Hearts 3. It's a ripper for the gang. Everyone agrees. Kingdom Hearts hero, that's right. That's right. Kairi would make it a musical, I know. But you know what? It still fucking hits. And the ending of this is actually really sick. Why no playable Alice? Give me that. Oh, let's fucking go, dude. Sinclair with the 5 gifted on my birthday on this most holy of days. Come on now. Can I get some W's in the chat? Please. You actual fucking icons. Too good to me. Sinclair, thank you so much. Chat, we're doing the first ever top supporters event, and it's pretty fucking crazy so far. This is a new thing that Twitch just implemented, and this is how it's working. It's going until tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. At the end of the evening, whoever is in these top 3 spots for gifters gets this Sora badge to use forever on the channel. Now, if you gift 5 or more subs, you get a regular Sora badge, but the top 3 at the end of it get Heart Eyes Sora badge. Right now, the top 3 are Jabawabs, Lawless, and Johnny coming through. 52, 20, and 19. Fucking insane. I appreciate you guys very much. I appreciate everybody, however you guys participate on these most special of days. It means a lot to me. Your presence is truly the best present. Rez, welcome in. Good to see you. But a cool and unique thing. I love the idea of like having this kind of exclusive badge for the people that are putting in like the most money, and then you still get a badge just for participating that is exclusive as well. And then also at the same time, if you watch the stream for 5 hours, you do get another badge too. There's a Heartless badge. It's fucking awesome. So we got 3 different badges going on all at once. What a time to fucking be alive. So many things happening, including, of course, well, this is happening now. This is the Kingdom Hearts anniversary event. Also, it's my birthday, and people are putting in points to the Hey Bub Jamboree chat. If you have channel points, put them in. If we raise 1 million channel points, stop it! Stop it! Lawless with 10 more motherfuckers. Let's go. Can I get some more W's, please? Unfucking believable. Lawless, thank you so much. Sinclair, thank you so much for the 15 gifted. You absolute legends. You absolute fucking legends. Oh, unfucking real. I fear that's a massive W. You're absolutely right. You missed one? No, I didn't miss any. I swear. Johnny with a gifted sub. Let's fucking go, dude. Salami McTop person, that's right. That's exactly how you pronounce it too. Johnny, thank you indeed. Big W's. Right to a hype train level 5. Chat. I appreciate you guys. 270 crazy. Fucking killing it. Fucking killing it. Yo, 5 from Ark. My goat. And that's just like that, 90% of the way through the level 5 hype train. Ark said, nah, dog, I don't really fuck with level 5 hype trains. I'm looking for level 6 hype trains. And because it's Kingdom Hearts. You're goddamn right. Ark, thank you so much for the 5. Happy birthday, amazingstreamer.com. 10 more from fucking Lawless. Stop it. That's 20 from Lawless, 5 from Ark, 1 from Johnny, 10 from Lawless, 5 from Sinclair. Stop it. Unreal. Chat, stop. I'm gonna come. Happy birthday, Jake. Skyline, I really appreciate it. The people love Kingdom Hearts. The people have spoken. Kingdom Hearts puts asses in seats. My favorite franchise of all time. And I can't recommend enough it becoming your favorite franchise of all time. I'm here to indoctrinate you. And I think you're going to enjoy yourself. I appreciate it, gamers. Too fucking good to me. And a gifted sub from Skyline. We keeps it fucking popping. Thank you. Thank you so much. So fucking sick. I can spell indoctrinate right now. If you can spell indoctrinate right now, I will try Kingdom Hearts. INDOCTRINATE. Indoctrinate. I think that did it. Posted a Kingdom Hearts 4 post? No, I didn't. Is it cool? How did I do? Did I spell it right? Fuck. What time is the Kingdom Hearts 4 thing? It's 17 minutes away. The live stream technically starts in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. We'll see what that entails. I'm assuming it's just going to be a starting soon screen, maybe with some Kingdom Hearts music. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see if that's the case. That being said, it feels like the right time to end the VOD of this. YouTube, thanks for hanging out. Come hang out live sometime. It's a whole fucking situation, as you could probably tell. And then go find the next Melody of Memories VOD, which I'll be doing in the next couple weeks, I'm sure. Go find the reaction to the Kingdom Hearts event. Go find the reaction to the trailer from last night. There's so much to enjoy. It's so much Jake Twitching content out there on the internet.